Welcome to Managua, Nicaragua, and the Alexis Aguero Sports Center as we get set for the We'll have the home court advantage. You see the crowd packed into the Alexis Aguero Sports Center. They'll be wearing the road red, and there you see on your screen wearing the home white Flamengo from Brazil. Both teams excited to be in the final. Both teams wanting to win a Basketball Champions League of America's championship. And if there's any indication by the weekend's games and all the action leading up to the final today, this should be a thrilling matchup. Carlin Gay on the call for you here this evening. Excited to get things going in just about 20 seconds. Hope you're safe and happy wherever you're watching, however you're doing so. Gustavo Conti, the head coach of Flamengo, and David Rosario, the head coach of Real Estelí. Both teams clapping it up, and they'll meet at half and get set and ready to go. There you see De Sousa, a big-time player. He'll be ready to rock.
Great.
He had a huge game in the semifinals, really to push Real Estelí into this final matchup. Joined now by my broadcast partner, Ramon Rivas, the Puerto Rican legend. Ramon, I know we're ready to go. I know you've been waiting for this matchup all day long. The two teams getting set to clash here in the final of the BCLA, Real Estelí and Flamengo.
Yes, Carlin, definitely this is a great matchup, Real Estelí with an opportunity to make history in this BCL Americas.
And they're off to a quick start. Is Flamengo, a three there by Martinez. And a good way, a good omen for Flamengo to get things going. They are a really tough defensive team. They were able to lock down in the semifinal, preventing their opponent from getting going offensively, and that's the reason why they're here in the finals, as that jump shot knocked down for two. It's a 3-2 score. A drive there inside by Sousa. It's a 5-2 lead for Flamengo early on.
And Marquinhos is a guy that needs to be contained if Real Estelí wants to have a victory tonight.
Speaking of trying to contain someone, De Sousa, he's a firecracker. He'll get things going. It's his first two of the night. I'm sure we'll call his name a bunch.
Oh, without a doubt, that Jesus is the key of this game. They have a point guard that likes to score, and just Real is very good at that.
Lopez. Oiga. Crossing over, the step back two, left it short. And you could hear the home crowd advantage for Real Estelí, who's in the red jerseys, Flamengo in the white. Iago Santos. Coming off the curl is Sousa. Sousa will look to isolate on the right side of the floor. Hesitation, pulls, no good. And De Jesus back the other way. De Jesus, hesitation dribble, counted, and the foul, and the scream, the emotion of a final game oozing off of his chest. And he'll go to the line for one more.
And just Real De Jesus has a lot of points in his hands. He's capable of penetrating, getting floaters in, and getting the foul. This is where he's best at. Just Real De Jesus is the leader of this team, following by, obviously, Bernardo Bachmann.
Jesus can fill it up. Early with 4 points in this game. He missed the opportunity for 5. And here is Iago Santos in the front court. That's a great point guard matchup. One we'll watch all night, Ramon.
Yes, sir.
Balkman comes away with this steal. Estelí looking to run. Balkman lost the handle. And here is Yago de Jesus in the front court. He'll pull for three. In and out. And de Jesus tapped it out of bounds. He'll stay on this side. 14 on the shot clock for Flamengo to work with.
And definitely Real Estelí has to take care of the basketball. They try to push the ball in many occasions, but they definitely have to make sure that they don't lose the basketball because
that shot won't count. The foul is on the floor. It'll be Flamengo basketball with 14 to shoot.
And if Lucas Martinez has a good night, definitely is going to be a big headache for Real Estelí. This guy, if he's hot from the perimeter, then he's got everything going for himself. He likes to penetrate and do more damage in that sense.
Flamengo is a team that likes to get inside and score a lot in the paint. They struggle from three-point range here in the BCLA. Only under 30% from three-point range, but baskets like that by Hitschmeyer will keep them with the score ticking over.
Yeah, Hitschmeyer is a threat inside, and obviously if he gets that going, then he's going to try to go outside.
Franklin with the running hook, able to get it to fall. Yago back the other way. Demetrio for three, no good. And the rebound pulled down by De Jesus. Right to the 10, he's fouled. He'll go to the line for two. Boy, he puts so much pressure on the defense, doesn't he?
Definitely. What you see is that both teams are trying to put a lot of pressure, by running the ball. As soon as the basket is in, they try to take the ball out of bounds. And if they get a defensive rebound, they push the ball down the floor. They want to make sure that they get easy baskets. And this is what we saw in the last game. They ended up shooting a lot of threes, and they struggled. They need to get a flow going if they start, scoring with those easy baskets by using the fast break.
Estelí had feasted on turnovers in the semifinal game. Got out in the open floor and ran. If Flamengo wants to keep them in check, a team that can score in the 90s, they're going to have to make sure they take care of the basketball on this end of the floor. Santos. The feed inside. Hitschmeyer is fouled.
And you can tell how Hitschmeyer, he gets to the paint, he gains position, he makes sure that, that the defensive player has to really commit a foul. Either way, when he gets the ball or by gaining position. So he is productive in that sense every single time.
Lopez commits that foul. Lopez, another big that's long, athletic, 7-footer. He's going to have his hands full with that man, Hitschmeyer, who steps outside and knocks down a triple.
Yeah, he mixed it up well.
Balkman for two. That's an air ball. And that's vacuumed in by Martinez. (10-10) your score. Final game here. A game for the championship in the Basketball Champions League of Americas. That three no good. Tapped up. De Jesus. It falls to Balkman. And guess what? Real Estelí wants to run. Balkman, good bounce pass inside, and a foul on Franklin's layup attempt will send him to the line for two.
Franklin Alexander, he does the little things well. He's always defensively busy and offensively just picking up everything that is available. Look at how the way he cuts to the basket and fed by Ronaldo Bachmann, who saw him cutting wide open underneath the basket.
Saw Hitschmeyer arguing with the officials, emotions running high. You feel the intensity of a championship game already 5 minutes into this one.
Well, right now, Flamengo is the team that came in second place last league, that's Champions League. So they really want to make sure that they come out with the trophy, and that's something that they don't want to let go, especially with this opportunity against the Real Estelí.
Estelí, the home team. We mentioned that Flamengo likes to pound it inside. Estelí is a team that likes to play from the perimeter and get up and down the floor. So it really is styles make fights, they say in boxing. Of course, we're in the Alexis Aguero Sports Center. Former champion who was a little bit underrated in his boxing career, but boy, could he punch.
Yes, sir.
Foul on the floor there. Hishmeyer was held.
By Akindele. Akindele needs to stay out of foul trouble. He needs, Real Estelí needs that presence, but look at it. You know, he's just grabbing too obvious, making it too obvious for the referee.
Iago Santos, his three no good. It's pulled in by Franklin. De Jesus back the other way. He'll pull for three. Indeed!
He loves that. He has that opportunity to see the basket by himself, and he's not going to doubt on taking that shot.
He has the ultra green light and already with 9 points. Flamengo.
And he's defensively a glue guy. You know, he's the guy that does the little things well. And you can tell, you know, he wasn't going to wait. He took it coast to coast and made that easy bucket, you know, with his energy. The defense started the offense in that last play.
Timeout on the floor. 16-10 your score.
Até agora, nenhuma. Então nós precisamos primeiro fazer ele jogar pick and roll. Como? Em movimento, não parado. Então é giro baixo ou chegada. E os bloqueios, quando for Marquinhos e Iago, que eles estão trocando, faz um bloqueio e o outro pivô já vem na sequência. Entendemos, não? Na chegada, por exemplo, o Marquinhos está com a bola aqui, ó. O Hatch passou, eles jogaram troca ou jogaram push, não importa o que eles jogaram. O Léo vem na sequência e bloqueia na sequência. Para ter mais dinamismo. O segundo, pera só um pouquinho. O segundo corta. O primeiro abre o primeiro que bloquear, abre. O segundo corta. Ou então toma a leitura de quem vai ficar com o cara menor e recebe a bola mais perto da cesta. Entendeu? Agora, nós precisamos ser mais dinâmico lá, tá muito parado. Outra coisa, quando fica parado, tem peito também. Não tem só pequeno, tem peito também.
So quick timeout from Flamengo there to try and stop the run. You see the emotion in the arena. Alexis Aguero Sports Center. Flamengo in the white uniforms. Team from Brazil playing here in the finals. The Basketball Champions League of Americas. They're down 6 to Real Estelí. The home team, so to speak. Playing in their home country of Nicaragua. Backdoor cut. Mojica comes away with the steal. De Jesus, he'll pull for three again. Indeed!
And Jezreel is feeling it. Definitely just not hesitating to take that shot. He's the guy that's going to carry these guys over.
Martinez, Hishmeyer for three. Too strong. Rebound. Iago Santos tried to feed it inside. De Jesus got his hands on it. Now Balkman vacuums that in. Mojica. One too many passes there, and it's stolen away. Here comes Flamengo. They'll need to slow things down. It feels like they're a little bit erratic right now offensively.
Yeah, the coach was asking, you know, to try to use that pick and roll and try to get Marquinhos open. And this time they moved the ball well. And Lucas Martinez get a nice three-pointer, trying to pick up and obviously getting the game. They are losing by 6 points.
That was a much-needed three, as you said, by Martinez. De Jesus. They can't stop him right now.
He's using the giant killer. He's using all the skills, you know, all the tools for this game.
Oh, Sousa slithering down the lane and pounds it home.
Yeah, and Marquinhos is the leader of this team, so he's not going to hesitate to push situations to get his team back in the game. You know, they're losing by 6. And he's going to take charge right now.
Balkman and driving down the lane. That layup was a little too wild. And a foul picked up by De Jesus there as he crashed into Santos. That's a point guard matchup to watch, folks. Those two gentlemen know how to fill it up. And Santos is going to have to step it up a little bit because De Jesus came to play.
Yeah, De Jesus is not taking it lightly. He wants to have a great game. He's had great great lead, you know, all around. So he's not going to stop, especially at home. He wants to put up a show right now.
Jesus working on a 14-point game, perfect from the field. Let's see if Santos can answer. He's on the rock right now. Hitchmeyer for three, straight away, indeed.
And that's the good thing about Hitchmeyer. He can shoot that three, so he's going to try to pull out Akindele from the paint, and that will create more openings for the Real Estelí, the Flamengo team, I'm sorry.
Jesus. Santos on his back. High arcing shot. Everything falling for him at the moment. Still perfect from the field.
Oh, my goodness. He really wants to put up a show tonight. That's without a doubt.
Chance of defense coming in from the crowd. Santos tries to answer. Can't get it to go. De Jesus takes the ricochet, and he's off and running. Beniero. Santos from the other side. This time it falls.
Yeah, Yago wants to answer back. He wants to get on the fight. So helping his team to get a little closer to Real Estelí, who's leading by 2.
There goes Santos' first points of the game comes from three-point range. He's 1 of 5. Mojica looking to answer. No good. Guess who has it? The hot man, De Jesus, battling inside. There's his first miss, and it's picked up by Martinez.
He knows that he has a little bit of a high advantage against Yago, so he went and tried to post him up this last time, but came out short.
3 on the way by Dos Santos. Ricochets high off the glass, and Franklin will dribble the other way. Under a minute to play here in the first quarter. Championship game here in the Basketball Champions League of Americas. Ishmael with the flat-footed block, and Yago pushes the other way. Now Ishmael for 3, a deep 3, and knocks it down. Look at Flamengo taking the lead here in the first.
And they're moving the ball extremely well. They're not selfish with the ball. This is a team that has many scorers, and in this last time, Mineiro just made an extra pass, made it easy for Heichmer.
Ruiz, his first jumper falls.
Jada Reese, who came in the game and had actually a great game in the quarterfinals, and right now is helping as a supporting cast for this Real Estelí.
10 seconds to play here in the first period. Flamengo could hold for the final shot. Yago trying to probe. They left him alone. He'll launch the 3. Can't get it to go, and that's how we'll end the first period, which was full of action.
Great intensity by both teams, and obviously a much higher first quarter than the previous game, and this is fun to watch.
Definitely is. Breakneck speed, 25-24. Real Estelí up over Flamengo after 1. Back
And
we are here, Real Estelí, up by 1 after a thrilling first period. That looks like we're going to have a lot of points in this one, Ramon. Flamengo battling back and finally finding their rhythm, but what do you expect to see here in the second half as we get set? No jitterbugs out of the both these two teams that look to win the Basketball Champions League of America's finals.
Yeah, they know what they're fighting for, and they are up to the challenge. Both teams are ready to battle, and they're looking good.
Balkman falling away. Left it super short.
And Real Estelí needs a lot of contribution for Ronaldo Bachmann. He's the guy who makes and scores the points a little bit closer to the basket. So they need to have that game, well balanced.
Of course, Balkman spent 7 years in the NBA with New York Knicks and the Denver Nuggets. Now playing here in
a good judgment, going and attacking Lopez, which is a young player and not accustomed to it. And they look to attack the basket, and they want to get to the free throw line. That's one of the good things that this team goes. They just don't get out of focus, and they know exactly how to be productive on the floor.
well, free throws no good there. Marquinhos Santos, or Sousa rather. Deep three, Ruiz, no good. Figueroa back the other way. Wide open underneath Demetrio for an easy 2.
And those big guys run the court, and they have to be very aware. Lopez have to be aware that the big guys from Flamengo run the court, and they get easy buckets. That's a really dangerous thing for Real Estelí.
Leads to a timeout for Coach David Presario. Let's listen into his huddle.
Entonces no podemos buscarlo con la bola en la mano mucho tiempo, hay que moverla. No podemos jugar 1 contra 1 en el primer pase.
And Rosario going on about playing one-on-one and not getting back on defense. Really upset at the guys, for not really just doing one pass and one shot, not moving the ball around.
We know this Flamengo team is great defensively. They're able to lock down in the semifinal, keeping the score under 80 for both teams. Real Estelí, on the other hand, they got up in the 90s and were able to walk out of the semifinal battle here for a shot at the championship.
I think playing at home has propelled them to have more offense, but really they're accustomed to score somewhere around the 79 points. At home, they have felt a little different and made a much more impact in the scoring.
Points will come, but Coach Rosario, as you mentioned, probably a little bit more concerned about what they're doing defensively. Let's see what they do out of the timeout. Here's Franklin. Set play out of the timeout. Everybody waiting. Not a lot of movement here with 10 on the shot clock. De Jesus, who has been a man possessed in the first. A foul on the floor. 14 back on the shot clock for Real Estelí to work with.
And the guys were kind of like frozen in the paint. It's lucky that they didn't call 3 seconds, because the guys were, they apparently, it was a miscommunication. No one really came out to get the ball until the last second.
De Jesus getting a lot of attention. Balkman inside. Lopez. The kick. Ruiz up fake. He'll drive. And an offensive foul is called. Great defense again. That's Hitchmeyer.
Yeah, these guys are veterans. These guys from Flamengo, he was close to the restricted area, but, the referee saw a little different. So lucky for Flamengo on that last play for Hitchmeyer.
Dos Santos. Sousa. Uses the pick, now drives inside. Blocked there by Lopez. A 7-footer with the long arm of the law rejecting, and then De Jesus falling asleep at the wheel again. That's the second time that's happened to him down the lane. And a foul call this time on Lopez.
And Yasriel De Jesus, being a point guard, he knows there's traffic behind him. So it's definitely, something that he has to be aware of, especially with Flamengo. They're not going to give anything free to these guys. So you can tell how they, for the second time have ran, either they know that he has those moments where he sleeps up, but otherwise he's going to have to be aware that that's going to happen if he doesn't take care of the basketball.
Santos might have gotten a gift foul there if you're a Real Estelí supporter. He'll see if he can cash in at the line and extend this Flamengo lead. He had a lot of scoring in that first quarter, and it seems to slow down a little bit here to start the second. He made a good point. You feel like that might be an issue for these two teams as they played so many games, so much basketball, so much pressure basketball in the last couple of days.
Especially the Brazilian team. Flamengo is playing their own league, and having these 3 games almost back-to-back is difficult on the bodies and actually on the minds. You get worn out just by just being out there, away from home and in a different time zone for the Flamengo team.
You see Charlin Hodgson, who checked into the game recently, his first action here, replacing De Jesus. If he can give you solid production off the bench, give De Jesus proper rest, that could be a benefit for Estelí.
No question.
The feed is inside for Akindele, and a foul.
And he needs to be out of foul trouble. In the past few games, he has gotten in foul trouble too early, worried about other things other than playing basketball, and they can't afford to do that tonight. And I'm happy for him that he's getting on the scoreboard.
There's a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play here. Oldest player on the team at 38 years old. Love to add a championship ring to his collection. This is the free throw. Iago Santos back into the game. He had a tough nightmare of a matchup with De Jesus in the first quarter. Corner 3 knocked down there. That's Martinez.
That's the wild card, Carlin. If Martinez can make those shots, it's a different ball game.
It's 3 of 5 from three-point range. He has 9 points and counting. Franklin thought he got hit. And it's going the other way, they say, last touched by Estelí.
And that's one of the strength of Flamengo. They have guys with 6'9", 6'10", and Real Estelí has to shoot over these guys, and that's very difficult. It's scoring in the paint for them. It's going to be a very difficult time,
Minero, one of those big players you just spoke of, he's at 6'10". Just checking into the game. Now he'll set the screen for Iago Santos. Rescreen. Santos gets around everybody, but a little too strong on the floater.
He made everything look easy, but the shot made it look very difficult.
Hodgson thought about the 3, now gives it to Franklin. Good defense there by Santos, moving his feet. Hodgson, deep 3, no good. And vacuumed in eventually there by Minero. They miss Minero on the rim run. He'll come and collect this at the 3-point line. Martinez, the X factor. Kick out Sousa. 10 on the shot clock. It's Martinez from the corner. That's no good. And Balkman with the flat-footed rebound.
Excellent ball movement last time.
Look at Akindele now. Posting. And threw that one away.
I was surprised to see him wide open underneath the bucket. I don't know if he sprint or he didn't run back, but it was hard to see him by himself in that last play. Unfortunately, he was not able to convert and get something positive out of that.
You see hands on hips, guys holding on to their shorts. The nerves of a championship game, that's tiredness.
And that's exactly how they look in the previous game. The big fellows, didn't look like they have all that stamina. But they got good perimeter players right now. Mojica is coming in for Franklin Alexander, and they need Mojica to bring it on. They really need him in the scoring capacity.
Almost a 5-second violation there as Flamengo gets it in a 2-point lead. 5:45 remaining in the first half. Santos, good kick. Sousa wide open for 3.
That's great basketball. You penetrate and pitch, and on that last play, Marquinhos he's a great shooter, so he's expecting that pass. It's good to be a player knowing that if you're open, they're gonna get the ball to you, and that's great basketball.
Hodgson. Akindele, flat-footed jump shot, no good. It's tapped out. Martinez pulls it down. And Flamengo will slow things down a bit and try to run some offense. Not a smart play. You mentioned he has to stay out of foul trouble. That's not a foul he can take.
First of all, that's a three-pointer, so you get a guy on the free throw line to shoot threes, 3 free throws, and at the same time you get yourself in foul trouble. But I think all of this has a lot to do with his conditioning, because otherwise he would love to stay on the floor. If you have great condition, you don't want to get in foul trouble. You just don't want to go back to the bench. But unfortunately, that's the outcome.
Sousa toes the line. We saw at the pause, De Jesus checks back in, number 0 in red. He was terrific in the first quarter, and the offense has seemed to struggle when he was on the bench. They were outscored, was Real Estelí, by 6 points, and it leads to a 5-point game.
He's the leader of that team. He definitely makes things happen for Real Estelí, and he has that green light from David Rosario, his coach. So he's definitely going to be in attacking mode in the next few minutes. Flamengo.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Flamengo is trying to escape right here, going away with a 6-point difference, and that's scary for Real Estelí.
Here's Balkman. De Jesus mishandles it, and it goes the other way. Figueroa with the defense there.
Yeah, Real Estelí have to take good care of the basketball. They can't afford to make more turnovers because they're giving up points in that sense. So far they just are struggling in that category.
Sousa has Balkman on him. Looking to go one-on-one. The step back, fall away jump shot, no good. And Franklin skies for that rebound. Ruiz ahead, Balkman, that pass too hot for him to handle, and a foul now by Balkman all the way as far as you can away from his basket. Not a good foul by Ronaldo Balkman.
There's two errors right there. The pass for a guy that is not open enough to receive the ball, and the second, the foul that Balkman, another big guy, trying to get in foul trouble. They have committed 8 turnovers so far. As I said before, this is a championship game. They want to win tonight. Real Estelí in front of their fans, and they are making it very difficult.
Rafa Monero at the line. He has 3 rebounds in the game, and he finally scratches on the score sheet with that foul shot. You mentioned the size that Flamengo does present. Here's one of the big men for them, 6'10", is Mineiro.
And they shoot 80% from the free throw line as a team. So you know that every time they step on that free throw line, they're going to make you pay the price.
It's an 8-point game. Balkman. Franklin. And looking to get De Jesus the rock, and here he has it. De Jesus throws it up for Balkman. Maybe the younger Balkman could go up and get that one. Not anymore.
That is correct. That's a bad pass. 9 turnovers. Once again, you know, this is going to really ruin their aspirations on trying to game tonight. They need to take care of the basketball once again, and I don't want to be redundant.
It seems like Flamengo is just methodically getting where they want to get on the offensive end. Demetrio with the offensive rebound. Fresh 14 for Flamengo.
They're
Looking
just
to take
too
a
big.
double-digit lead.
They're just too big, and trying to block them out is the key.
Franklin with the rebound. Here's De Jesus. Hasn't taken a shot in quite some time, but the defense has been all over it lately. 3-point bomb knocked down by Franklin. They needed that.
He's a guy that needs to contribute. Him and Mojica needs to be on the board. They making Jezreel De Jesus get rid of the ball, because when he goes into the pick and roll, the big guy is showing up.
3 on the way, splashed in rather easy by Dos Santos, and it leads to a timeout for Real Estelí.
And this is becoming a difficult task for the Real Estelí.
No hay different communication, no nos estamos comunicando nada, no hablamos, estamos defendiendo a lo loco. Van 4 ahora y dejan 4 tipos abiertos, eso no sirve. Eso no fueron las instrucciones que se dieron.
Coach David Rosario upset because they're going to the offensive rebound and they're not running back on D. Just too many breakaway points, and this is really hurting Real Estelí's in this first half.
Flamengo has lived at the line. We mentioned at the top that Flamengo is a team that likes to methodically push the ball inside. Points in the paint would be a big stat. Surprisingly, even though Real Estelí is down in this one, they are actually winning in that category 12-8.
Yeah, both teams are offensively minded. Offensively minded when it comes to rebound, you know, but they need to. Real Estelí needs to put a little bit more effort defending, and more than ever, they need to show up, you know, help each other out and communicate on defense, which they're not doing right now.
See what they come out of the timeout with. It's an 8-point game, crucial time here in the first half. De Jesus, his first shot in a long time, rolls out. Say Balkman went over the back, and that's another foul that he just does not need right now.
Yeah, Ronaldo Balkman cannot afford to get in foul trouble. They already have Akindele. That's his second personal foul, and he's one of the few big guys that they have. You know, there you see Mojica trying to talk to the referee, pleading for some help.
Mojica's been quiet so far in the first half. Mineiro goes back to the line where he's done all of his damage on the score sheet and misses the first foul shot.
This Flamengo has been in this situation before. They're not going to let this be an easy game for Real Estelí to come back.
9-point game.
And there's a rotation. Hersheimer comes back in. The big guys are fresh, and that's so difficult for the Real Estelí to match up with.
Chacho for three, no good. Way strong off the backboard. Ruiz hustling and grabbing the rebound. This time inside for Cacho.
Cacho with a nice baby hook.
His first
Even
two.
a breather.
Yeah, his first two. They needed that.
Yes.
Now they need to stop. Ishmael. And that's going to be goaltending on Ruiz. Count the two.
And they realize they are bigger than Real Estelí right now on the floor. So Ishmael is going to post up every single time. They're going to try to use those mismatch and take advantage of that.
Here's Mojica. You've called his name a couple of times. Try get in the game offensively. He's been quiet. Let's see if this shot falls for him. That's air ball. Great defense by Martinez.
He's one of the leading scorers. He's been carrying this team along with Ronaldo Bachmann, and both of them are, I would have to say, in action. They need to step up to this final game right now.
Three on the way. Dos Santos, no good. And a rebound there by De Jesus. A rare three-point miss there for Flamengo. They've hit 9 threes so far in this game. Real Estelí only 2 to this point. Ruiz taking it to the basket, feeling like maybe the three-point shots aren't falling. Let me get inside a little bit.
And that's exactly what they need to do. They need to attack the basket, get fouls, or get easy buckets, but just shooting the ball just to shoot.
Look at Ishmael, the footwork. That is textbook stuff from the big man. Is that Kevin McHale out there? I know you played with him. It looks the same.
Like I said, they go to the guy who has the better opportunity to take advantage of the other team, and Hersheimer is a good free throw shooter. So
14 points and counting for the big man. Most of his damage actually coming from beyond the arc. Never see the footwork inside.
The good thing about him is that he can mix it up. We were talking before that from the previous game, they weren't taking advantage. These guys wear you out. If you try to guard him in the post, he goes outside and just mix it up real good.
Ishmael has 15 points. The lead is now 9 for Flamengo. Under a minute to play here in the first half. Championship game here at the Basketball Champions League of Americas. Mojica, can he get going? That's just bad luck at this point now. Cacho puts it on the ground and loses it. Martinez for 3. That's too strong. And he gets his own miss. All alone underneath. Oh, what a block by Ruiz. It'll stay on this end, but what a block as Ruiz says no.
Great intensity by Ruiz. He knew that pass was going to become 2 points for them, and he challenged that.
Get that stuff out of there.
And that's what it all boils down to, the extra effort to stop the other team.
Timeout on the floor. 33 seconds remaining in the first half. 9-point spread. Flamengo in front.
Lucas em campo, saiu o Johnny. Olha só, vamos fazer o seguinte, ó. O Hatch vai plantar no poste baixo, o Diego vai bater. Aquele movimento que a gente treina bastante, tá? Léo vai sair pelo Hatch. Marquinhos vai receber. Lucas, você vem. Lucas começa aqui. Você vem como quem fosse receber, tenta entrar no backdoor aqui. O Marquinhos vai te passar o backdoor. Se não, tá bom? Olha só. Se não der o backdoor, o Marquinhos vai ter segurança, porque são 9 segundos, não 1 segundo. São 9. O Marquinhos vai subir com a bola e vai fazer punho 5. Você vai vir em velocidade, não vai bloquear. Você vem em velocidade, você vai estar aqui, ó. Vou estar aqui. Você vai estar aqui, você sobe bem em velocidade, passa por ele e ele vai em velocidade. Com o Lucas espaçado, tá certo? Ninguém desse lado aqui, deixa o Marquinhos jogar, desse lado.
Well, it looks like they're going to open it up for Marquinhos to take it all the way. And Heimer is going to probably, I don't know if it's setting a pick or just stepping out to give him more room. And Lucas Martinez might be the recipient of that, in case Marquinhos doesn't get the opportunity to penetrate.
Keep your eye on 25 in white. Martinez, as you mentioned, a guy that's knocked down 3 threes in this game. Most of them coming from the corner. An important possession here for Estelí. They need to stop. Try and maybe get some momentum heading into half. Look at the backdoor cut by Martinez, and he's fouled, and he'll go to the line. Mojica couldn't keep control of him. Maybe they thought, hey, he's hit 3 threes. He's going to the three-point line, but just a smart play.
As a coach, he's got to be extremely happy because they're following the instructions and playing it by the book. This is what they draw, in the sidelines, and they capitalize, by gaining that foul, and Martinez can capitalize on the free throw line.
It's Martinez's first points that weren't a three-pointer. He's up to 10, and the lead is 10.
He also plays in the Mexican League in Soles de Mexicali and has become champion in several occasions.
Jesus, who was on fire in the first, 16 points, 16 of the 34 points, has been quiet, held scoreless here in the second quarter, and you can see why. The defense of pressure has stepped up. Jesus, he's fouled on the floor there. 10.6 to play here in the first half. The shot clock will be off here, and you can bet that man, Jesus, will have the ball in his hands with a decision to make, as Real Estelí will try to close the half out with some momentum.
Yeah, they're trying to make it difficult in the Jesus. Actually, the help is there. Even if you're going one-on-one, the other guys are looking for his penetration. That's home court advantage.
A little continuation. Yeah. Well, Santos thought he got him on the ground, but he did not, says the referee. And Jesus at the line trying to reduce this lead to 7 before the halftime break.
They need all the help.
19 big points for Real Estelí's leading scorer. Pressure shown by Estelí. See if Flamengo could get one more look at the basket. Stolen away. Mojica for 3. It will count if it goes. It's the front of the rim. And that's how we'll end the first half.
And it could have been worse, but, luckily Real Estelí had a couple of plays and ended up making it a 7-point game. And this is not looking so bad as in the beginning was looking a little ugly, but they made up, and hopefully in the second half, Real Estelí will come up with some more energy.
They may very well get the energy from the home crowd as we take a look at some of the stats from the first half. We mentioned that both these teams are very efficient. It's been Flamengo knocking down the trifecta at the high level, 9 threes so far. There are the rebounding and assist totals. Ball movement, the story for Flamengo.
Yeah, very similar stats, but the turnovers have really made a big haul for Real Estelí. They need to take care of the basketball because those are attempts that you're not taking to the basket, and the other team is running away with that ball, breaking with easy layups. So that's where they really having a hard time.
Ismayer with 15 points. Leading the way for Flamengo. Jesus with 19 points leading the way for Real Estelí. Estelí, as you mentioned, Ramon, 10 turnovers in the first half. If they can clean that up, Maybe we'll have a tight ball game down the stretch. Take a look at some of the highlights here from the first half. And a reminder, this is a championship game, the Basketball Champions League of America's final game here between two teams that want it. You see the intensity in some of these pictures. Estelí playing in front of the home crowd. Flamengo with their tight defense looking to walk away and head back to Brazil with a championship and a championship banner.
Especially because they came in second place last year in the BCLA, and they really want to make sure that they get this one. And we see Heitzheimer, how he was shooting from threes. Akindele couldn't really put much of a opposition on that.
In the third place game that we saw earlier today, it was Minas, another team for Brazil, walking away with third place win over Sao Paulo, 75-58. It was a defensive battle, we'll say. Both teams struggled to find the range, but Minas finally buckled down in that third corner, Ramon, and really were able to get the victory after playing sound defense and then finally seeing their shots go through the rim.
Yeah, it wasn't a pretty game, but definitely, they both played hard. They both wanted to win. Unfortunately, at the end, Sao Paulo didn't have enough power to really contest against Minas, and one more for the Minas team.
When you look at these second half adjustments, first for Flamengo, I know they're in the lead, but what sort of adjustments should they make, if any, up 44-37?
They actually playing well. They sharing the ball. They playing good defense. This collective defense, which is what they need to stop Yesriel de Jesus. Unfortunately for Real Estelí, they're lacking on the power that Ronaldo Bachmann is capable of bringing. He hasn't had a good offensive night, and really hasn't been what he's capable of doing. His stats don't really do any favor to him. And also Mojica, he's the third leading scorer in Real Estelí. So those two guys need to bring it on, because otherwise, Real Estelí is going to come short at the end of the day.
Not enough offense from Balkman, not enough offense from Mojica. You got a ton of offense from De Jesus. If you're David Rosario,
they have scouted this team very well. They know what Yesriel de Jesus, and in the first half, they let him get his way. But the moment they realized that, enough is enough, they started working, like I said, collective defense, where they, are paying attention where he's at, where, when he tries to dribble, even when he gets the picks and roll, they make sure they show up, and that's what's giving a hard time to Real Estelí to do anything. They're not really playing anything at this time.
Flamengo trying to spoil the party for the home team. Flamengo up 44-37 over Real Estelí. We'll take the break and be back with the second half action right here on the BCLA Finals.
você depende de Jesus. A primeira nós vamos fazer às 5. Só que o Diego vai passar e vai receber de volta. Ele passa e já vem no mão a mão para pegar a bola. O pivô vai se meter aqui, o outro pivô vai se meter aqui, ó. Então vamos ficar assim, ó. Marquinhos e Lucas. O Marquinhos vai sair e vai queimar. E o Lucas vai sair pelo 5. Marquinhos sai, queima e sai pelo 4. E o Lucas sai pelo 5. O 5 bloqueia bem o Lucas. Tá bom ou não? Entendemos ou não?
Back we are here at the finals. The Basketball Champions League championship game. Real Estelí down to Flamengo. Let's listen into the Flamengo huddle. Or rather, the Real Estelí huddle real quick.
And Coach Rosario emphasizing on the closeout. Also hedging, you know, is the help, you know, at this point. They know what he's capable of bringing, and they're not allowing him to do what he pleases on the court.
He had 19 big points, did De Jesus, for Real Estelí, and really kept him in the game. 16 of those 19 came in the first quarter. Flamengo made their adjustments and quieted him big time in the second. Let's see what they're able to do here in the second half. Flamengo in the white uniforms, Real Estelí in the red. It is the finals here at the Basketball Champions League of Americas. Flamengo was the runner-up a year ago. They're looking to win a championship this year, knowing what heartbreak feels like in the final game of the most prestigious tournaments in the world. Carlin Gay alongside Ramon Rivas, the Puerto Rican legend, and Ronaldo Balkman using a Ramon Rivas move inside, getting his first 2 of the night.
He needs to do a lot of those. You know, they need his help offensively in order to stay in this game.
Good defense there by Franklin. De Jesus on the high bounce. Looking for help now. Balkman. He'll pull for 2. 4 quick points for Balkman. He had no points in the first half.
He's feeling it, and he's capable of putting points on the board. It's just about getting him the ball, and I think that's what Rosario probably went and told them in the halftime.
Great backdoor cut by Martinez. He moves so well without the basketball.
This guy is a smart player, and he takes whatever you give him, and for the second time, you know, he takes another backdoor and make it productive for his team.
Jesus uses the Balkman screen. Kick ball there. Put the shot clock back to 14.
And we can see once again, you know, Balkman receiving the basketball, and I'm pretty sure that that's something that they have told in the locker room at halftime. He needs to have touches, and he needs to be involved.
De Jesus. Against size, able to get it to fall.
1 against 4. You know, the little men prevail. You know, he had a nice penetration against the big guys there.
Ismayer for 3. No good. Balkman with the rebound. Way more active now in the early going here in the second half than he was in the first. Akindele misses a bunny. He needs to get it going. The ball will stay here. Mojica trying to argue it should be Estelí ball.
And Akindele has to be a little bit more patient. He's so tall. You know, if he happened to make a sit-down move and just take his time, he will come out with something, either a foul or a bucket. And he's just trying to get rid of the ball too fast.
Well, he's 7-1, Ramon. I mean, I would kill for that. So you got to throw it down when you're that down low.
Except when you have, you know, a few years in your back, right?
He is 38 years young.
Yes, sir.
Marquinhos Sousa with the drive there. Akindele inside. Franklin penetrating, spinning. Akindele fumbles the ball. It's just not his night.
It hasn't been his quarterfinals, semifinal, or finals. You know, he has had a terrible time. You know, and I'm not trying to kill him. I'm just telling you the truth. He's just having a really hard time. His confidence is down, and that's probably the worst part.
You heard the crowd give it to him a little bit after that play as well. The home crowd in Nicaragua. Real Estelí, of course, from Nicaragua. Flamengo from Brazil. Marquinhos. Iago Santos back to Marquinhos for 3. Got it. Straight on. Looked like an arrow through the rim.
That was from the parking lot, almost with 2 seconds left in the shot clock.
Lead back to 8. Franklin. He thought about a 3. Now looking for help. He'll penetrate. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2. Made something out of nothing on that possession. There was nothing going on offensively for Estelí. Luckily, Franklin bails them out.
And the worst part is that there's no ball movement. The guy, keeps dribbling the ball, in the same place, not going anywhere. And you're going against 3 towers, Marquinhos is 6'9", Teixeira is 6'10", Mineiro is
Franklin at the line. He has 8 points and counting. Make it 9 after the first free throw. We see Lopez check into the game. You mentioned the size that Flamengo has. Here's some size now on the other side. Lopez is 7 feet tall. Long, lengthy. We haven't seen him really utilize that size so far in this game. Maybe the halftime break got him to refocus a little bit.
He's a young player who plays on the Nicaragua national team, but he's gaining experience through this entire tournament.
Double figures now for Franklin. A drive inside. Hishmeyer gets fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2 shots. And you can see him talking to his bench. He's fired up.
He really wants it, And Lopez really had butterfingers, couldn't get a hold of that basketball. Can't afford to give a extra possession to Flamengo.
You mentioned the humidity in this arena. As you said, there's no AC, so it does get slick out there, and sometimes that might affect the basketball, and we see the crowd really packing it in there, and it's getting hot.
And Carla, they're lucky to be 7 points down against Estelí at this point. They really are not doing much, and for some reason they stay in the game. They haven't really lost the opportunity to come back.
Hishmeyer with the second free throw good. It really does feel like momentum is Flamengo's way. But you look at the score, and Estelí's still in the game, and they have the home court advantage. Balkman forcing his way inside. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line. Much better energy from Ronaldo Balkman, one of the leaders on this team here in the second half.
Yeah, he's got a quick first step, and when he takes it to the drive, he gets to the bucket very easily. But unfortunately, you can see Mineiro. He's a 6'8", and then they got plenty of bodies. It's not easy for Balkman, other than trying to get fouled in those opportunities that he have to attack the basket.
Kind roll there for Balkman, gives him the 5th point. Of course, he spent 7 years in the NBA with the Knicks and the Denver Nuggets. Now trying to win a BCLA championship for the hometown, or home country team, rather. No one picked up Dos Santos. Easy 2 for him on the transition.
Really no communication there, and they make them pay the price.
Balkman shows the up fake, now spinning in the lane. Lost it. Could have been called a travel, but they say he got tapped. Malika's having a tough game.
And this guy is playing, he's very experienced. Javier Mojica has played in the BSN. He's actually, he belongs to Bayamón, which is the team that won the Superior League there. And, he's played big moments. So I'm expecting that at one point he comes out and do some damage to this team.
If anyone knows about the BSN, it's you, my friend, a former MVP of that league. As we see as Ishmael trying to get the MVP of this game, falling away and finishing. Sousa, his layup no good, and Ruiz was talking to him saying, hey, I was open for 3.
And that's not good. You start hearing guys not being happy, and that's not, togetherness at this point.
Dos Santos had all day to line up that 3 and knocks it down. Flamengo pouring it on in the finals. Up 14, and Real Estelí is shook, and they'll take a timeout with 5:06 to play in the third period.
Flamengo is playing at a different level. They have been there, they've done that, and they know what it takes to win. So they are willing to do whatever it takes. Sharing the basketball and playing cohesiveness. This is good basketball we've seen from Flamengo.
Acá y el otro acá. Eso no lo podemos permitir. Lo hablamos en el camerino. El juego se pegó, empiezo a fallar, me descuido y ya colapsamos defensivamente. Ese tipo había que llegarle, le tenía que llegar porque un segundo, 2 segundos y después tiró. Señor, no puedes jugar bien 2 minutos y después desequilibrarte, tienes que jugar consistente.
Is really coming short defensively. Then they're not communicating, and they're not doing the first and second, defensive effort.
See the frustration there. Jesus walking away from the huddle before it was all said and done. Ruiz showing some leadership, pulling him back. You mentioned the defense, but it's also been the offense. They've struggled to keep their hands on the rock. Flamengo has 19 points off Real Estelí turnovers, and that really is the game. It's a 16-point game right now.
Yeah, those 12 turnovers are really is a heavy load for Real Estelí. They can't afford to have any more turnovers, and once again they need to have other guys contributing offensively, because otherwise it's so difficult for just Real de Jesus.
There's De Jesus. Free for 3. Indeed. Check that. That's Mojica.
Mojica. Yes, sir.
That was Mojica finally getting one to fall from deep.
Much needed.
Sousa floating in the lane with the sky hook. All he needs is the goggles, and maybe we might call him Kareem.
Yes, sir. Jared Ruiz fell asleep in that backdoor that Marquinhos just ended up getting.
Franklin driving inside, took a bump. Balkman battling, gets an offensive rebound, and is fouled.
And it's very difficult to have second and third shots attempts when you have that line of Flamengo. They're just too big, and they just don't let you. Even if you get the offensive rebound, you get it at a very difficult position to do anything with the ball.
Balkman's been grinding inside here in the second half, and you can see him holding on to his shorts. He is exhausted, folks.
He is battling for the rebounds, that's for sure.
Mojica trying to make it 2 in a row. He does.
Ooh, this could be good, If he gets hot, then it's a different story. You got other options, and Ciel de Jesus can come back and do more damage.
Balkman pokes the ball away. Balkman on the runway, inside, and it's finished by Franklin on the tip dunk.
Great effort by the Real Estelí. Balkman just putting the turbo in that last play.
He's arguing to see if there was it should have been a foul called, he thinks. Play was finished by Franklin anyway, and it leads to timeout. Here's the replay. You judge at home.
Good intensity.
Might have been good D. I feel like Flamingo went straight up. Franklin
And Alexander
finished.
Franklin not giving up on the play. You know, usually some guys don't want to run. They think that it's over once your team is up for an easy layup, and he just didn't give it up. You know, that's why he was able to tip it in.
You see the team leaders for Flamengo on the bottom of your screen. 19 for Hishmeyer and 5 rebounds as well. He's had a big-time game, answering the call for his team. It's Coach Conti in the middle of that huddle. Just called timeout, trying to stop the bleeding, as it felt a little bit like the crowd was starting to wake up here in Malaga.
And they don't really need that, that's for sure. You know, that's a crowd that have been supporting the Real Estelí through the past 2 games, and that's the 6-man effect. So we want to make sure that they can quiet it down.
Single-digit lead for Flamengo. Let's see how they respond out of the timeout. 3:35 to play in the third quarter. It's a championship game here at the DCLA. 3 on the way from Iago Santos, no good, and the ball is given away. Martinez pull 3, no, gets his own. Sousa says slow things down. Now 5 to shoot. Ruiz showing good D. And that's an air ball. Great defense there by Ruiz.
They lucked out on that last play, Real Estelí, you know, after such a
See if they can cash in now on the other end. De Jesus, watched by Santos. He got the better of Santos in that first quarter, leading to 16 first quarter points where he didn't miss a shot. Balkman! Hello!
welcome in. Yes, sir. He's waking up from that nightmare that he was having in the first half. He's contributing, and you can tell that his energy makes a big difference on Real Estelí.
Sousa left it short. Mojica almost coming away with the pickpocket, and the foul is called. This crowd is alive after the Balkman finish.
1 steal, 1 dunk. You know, that's the kind of energy that they need at this moment. You know, they really are desperate for that type of energy, and if everybody else chip in, that's it's going to be a nice ending for this one.
Martinez slithering his way inside. Dimitrero knocks down the 3, quiets the crowd momentarily.
And that's the strength that this team has. Those 7-footers, those 6'10" guys, you know, are capable of hitting those threes and spreading the court. And right now you got 2 guys of that height, you know, 6'10", 6'11", and they spread the floor like if they were guards, you know. So it's very difficult to play that.
You see Balkman inside. He's been banging the entire second half. Ishmeyer with the foul that time. 17 on the shot clock for Estelí. 10-point game. It's been the Balkman show here in the third quarter. Let's see if it continues. That shot too strong. Mojica with the offensive rebound left that one short. And then he fouls. Bad sequence there from Mojica. Couldn't hit the wide open look, and then compounds it with the foul on Martinez.
He wasn't ready to take that shot. You know, he didn't have any legs behind that shot, so that's why he came out short. But good effort for both of them, you know, trying to keep him busy.
They're able to keep it under 10 here as we close the third quarter. That'd be a great sign for Estelí, and you can see their defense starting to pick it back up. Referees discussing whether or not it was last touched by Estelí or Flamengo. Would be a big call here if Estelí is able to steal possession again.
They need it badly. If they can close this third quarter 7 to 6 points down, then it's a different story.
Great jobs by the referees coming together, discussing, making the correct call. Estelí picks up possession. You be the judge at home. Ooh, I don't know. What do you think?
Hard to tell.
We have the benefit of a replay. The referees got to do it in real time. It didn't matter anyway for Estelí. They give up possession again. Turnovers has been tough for them. De Jesus as well, their primary ball handler, hasn't been able to corral the ball.
5 turnovers for him on the night.
Tough. Martinez got whacked. No call. Franklin comes the other way. Mojica for 3. Indeed!
Good ball movement, good patience for Ronaldo. You know, looking at Mojica, which is a good three-point shooter. He didn't hesitate to give it up to him.
8-point game. Dos Santos inside. What a tough move and a finish.
That's unacceptable. You know, just too easy. The little guy just getting to the bucket, you know, without any challenge.
Balkman spinning away, kisses it off the glass. It's been a Ribaldo Balkman show in the third quarter. Nine of his points all in the third period after not scoring at all in the first half. You asked for his participation. You asked for Mojica's participation. They have 17 points combined here in this third.
Yeah, they brought it up, you know. Only thing is that all that effort, you can tell Bachman is a little worn out, you know. All that energy is making him bend over, you know, as you can see.
If you're
hopefully he'll have something in the tank, and he's asking for a substitution. So
he is. Maybe now might be the time with 31 seconds remaining in the third quarter. You get the time on the clock and then maybe the break in real time as well. That rebound and
ball movement.
Estelí could close the quarter with a strong possession. They're down 7. Balkman,
no,
lost it there. That's tired legs. Martinez missed the layup.
Unbelievable. But would you believe that he was also bending over as well as Bachman on that last play? It paid, you know, it really showed up at the end of the game, end of the quarter, I'm sorry. Oh, my goodness.
Of the third period. I don't know if I call that a highlight for Estelí or a low light for Flamengo. Either way, it's a 7-point game. 1 quarter remains. The championship on the line. Flamengo up big.
He had the legs to steal the ball, but didn't have the legs to finish it off.
There you see some of the statistics here from the first 3 periods. The free throw line has not been kind to either team.
This is a game for either one of them. You know, I mean, if Real Estelí brings it on this fourth quarter, you know, the way that Bachman and Javier Mojica play in this third quarter, you know, I think that they have a chance to get an opportunity to at least fight in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. So we'll have to see how they come back.
Balkman has been the spark plug for Estelí. He's arrived here in the third period. Mojica quietly putting together a nice third period as well. And those two scoring allowed De Jesus to kind of float in the background a little bit in that third period. He had 1 basket, the drive to the lane, and the finish over size. But after that, really kind of let Balkman and Mojica carry the way. You see the Balkman finish. That was nasty.
Yeah.
Combined 17 points for Balkman and Mojica. Here's 3 of that 17. And Ramon, you asked them to step up, and they did coming out of the halftime break.
They had no chance. If they don't come up and show up the way they did in that third quarter, they would have been losing by 20. But fortunately, they came from halftime with a different energy, and they're going to have to repeat that if they have if they want to have a chance to win it all. So they just got to come out the same way. It's only 10 more minutes, and they got to give it all. You know, there's no chance to for you to relax on this last quarter.
10 minutes stands between Flamengo and a championship. And Real Estelí has 10 minutes to make a dramatic comeback, down 7 in the final period. Of course, Flamengo, the runners-up from a year ago, they know what heartbreak feels like. They don't want to feel that again. The team from Brazil looking to break the hearts of the home country team in Real Estelí.
And they got the fresher legs because they have a good rotation compared to Real Estelí. So we'll see how that works out.
Balkman driving, his shot no good. He was looking for a foul call. Flamengo in the white jerseys going from right to left on your screen. Real Estelí in the red. A foul inside as Mineiro, we haven't heard his name in a little bit, gets hacked. A good rim run there, and he had the smaller de Jesus on his back, and not much he can do there.
And that happens because Ronaldo tries to argue with the referee about the foul, and Mineiro just takes advantage of that run and has to match up with Jezreel de Jesus, which is no competition underneath the bucket for Mineiro.
Mineiro's points, all of them coming from the foul line. He pulled it short on that attempt. The foul line really keeping Real Estelí in the game.
Yes, they usually shoot 80%, Flamengo. So tonight they're shooting over 50% at this point. So they're really struggling from that area. And I don't know what it is, if it's the humidity from the ball, whatever, but it's not. They keeping that door open for Real Estelí.
It's an 8-point spread. You see the free throw numbers there. 53% from Flamengo, as Ramon just said. De Jesus waits for a Balkman screen. Now he puts it on the deck. The kick out. Mojica got it!
Beautiful penetrator and pitch. Mojica feeling it right now. And Jezreel de Jesus is assisting his team.
Sousa had it roll in and out. Ruiz with numbers. Mojica again. No good. And Mineiro is fouled by Ruiz. That size really, you could tell the difference on that rebound. Mineiro went up for it and looked like an ant was on his back.
Yeah, Jared Ruiz is somewhere around 6'3" at the most. And Mineiro 6'8". You know, you can tell they had no chance on getting that offensive rebound.
Lead still stuck at 5 for Flamengo. Iago Santos, he's been quiet in this game. He'll look to take a three. Left it short. Franklin had it fall on his toe and roll out of bounds.
Yeah, Dos Santos hit him, and the ball just hit Franklin Alexander on his feet. So that's unlucky play for him.
Santos, after that last shot, 2 for 12 from the floor. At some point, maybe the tide will turn for him, and he'll have to hit a big shot. In the meantime, Santos for 3, no good. Franklin had no problem snatching that rebound under the air. He wasn't going to let that slip out of his hands. De Jesus, rhythm dribble, penetrating, the floater, no good. He gets his own, and a foul as Franklin was crashing the glass that time.
And Real Estelí just is missing that next bucket to put him in a better situation to tie the game or go ahead in the game. It's unfortunate. Yeah, they have had a couple of plays where they probably could have, gotten a little closer and probably get involved the crowd even more than what they are right now. But it hasn't happened.
The crowd has certainly helped them to keep them not only in the game, but within striking distance. You could see the energy every time down the floor now, especially on the offensive end. Mojica. The floater. Yes. Well, he's come alive, and he's saying, feed me.
Yes, sir. Giant killer right there. He needs to get some more of that, 3-point lead by Flamengo right now. This is a new ball game, right?
Crucial possession. Martinez. Los Santos uses the screen. Martinez from his office. No good. Hismeyer inside. Stripped out of his hands. Still 9 to shoot. Santos, they want to go inside. They do. Under 5 to shoot. Hismeyer can't get it to go. And Balkman with the rebound. Real Estelí could tie with a 3.
This is exactly what I was talking about. A play that they need to convert.
De Jesus. Balkman on the rebound. 1-point game.
Well back, Mr. Balkman.
11 points and counting for Ronaldo Balkman. Second chance points even at 8. Santos for 3. Quiets the crowd. Iago says, give me that.
That was a deep 3. I was doubting he would take that shot, but, he was not afraid to take it.
Lead back up to 4. Here's Balkman. He thought about it. Now he'll set the screen for De Jesus. The floater. No good. Balkman tapped at it. Iago Santos shot out of a cannon down the floor. The good pass. Hismeyer. What a block by Jesus. Oh, Ruiz said no, but referee said that's a foul, sir.
Yeah, we're seeing time and time again, they're not running back on defense, and that's why Hismeyer at that point was wide open running that break, and Jared Reese had to foul him in order to stop that play, but they're really having a hard time getting 5 guys back on defense at the same time.
Jogada com mais movimento. Ó, a próxima nós vamos fazer a 3. A 3 nós vamos fazer. O Iago vai jogar o pick and roll no final. Cuidado enquanto ele tá tirando o passe. Ó. Então vamos, ó. Hatch e Léo. Backdoor, Hatch e Léo. Tá bom? Abre bem. Se não deu pra passar o backdoor, o Iago vem pegar a bola na sua mão. Tá bom? Lá. A defesa, gente. A defesa, hein? Marquinhos, espera um pouco. A defesa, hein? A defesa. Bola.
Well, the heartbreak of last year may be playing in the back of their minds. Flamengo letting Real Estelí feed off of this crowd to make it a 4-point game with 6:21 remaining. This is for the championship.
This is where the man separate from the kids, and these guys have had a wonderful season. They have only lost 2 games in their Brazilian league, and they have not lost a game in this Champions League. So definitely they know what it takes. They if they really want to get this game, they're going to have to step up. They have been leading the entire game, so they cannot, let Real Estelí catch up.
Saw Gustavo Conti pacing the sidelines. Wonder what's going through his mind as a coach. David Rosario looking for some minutes out of Lopez. He's played sparingly in this game, Ramon, but a crucial time to put him in with 6:21 remaining to give Balkman a little bit of a breather here as we try to close things out.
The sad thing is that Akindele is not able to be in this pressure situation. A guy that has got more experience than Lopez. And Lopez is being thrown out there in a difficult situation. But, this is where players grow and they get better. So we'll see how he reacts.
Ishmael knocks down the first free throw. Gets it back to a 5-point game. He's been quiet here in the second half after having a terrific first half. Now has 21 points, only 6 of them coming here in the second half. He's back
Great
to a
game
6-point
for him.
Yeah. De Jesus, when does he come alive? Ruiz. Lopez will set the screen for him. Ruiz, the floater, got it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shot from Jared Ruiz. Well needed right now.
The backdoor cut. Ruiz with the good defense that time. Poked at the ball and able to get a miss. Ruiz toes the line for 3. Indeed! 1-point game.
And that's what they needed. A few other guys chipping in so they can make this a ball game. And Jared Ruiz stepping to the plate at the right time.
Last 5 points for Real Estelí. One stop away from having a chance to take the lead. Santos, great move and finish.
The little man Yago getting to the bucket without a problem.
He struggled from the field, but he knocked down a big 3 to start the fourth, and then that big layup there puts the lead back to 3 for Flamengo. Mojica. They're all over him. De Jesus with the shot clock expiring, no good. And a rebound by Demetrio. And Santos said slow it down.
Deep 3.
Yeah, it was deep, almost at the logo. De Jesus is only 2 for 8 since the first quarter. He was perfect to start the game. Good steal there by Ruiz. De Jesus to the rim. He was blocked by Demetrio, and the foul underneath. Is that Franklin again? Yes, it is. Boy, he's been hustling on the offensive glass.
Yes, that's what he does best. You know, he's an enforcer. So, you know, has gotten 9 rebounds. And in this occasion, you know, it's a valuable rebound because it gives the Real Estelí another opportunity to have another opportunity to attack the basket. So we will see official review. So I thought it was contact on that last play with Jesiel de Jesus. There was a lot of contact. No whistle was blown. So it will be interesting to see what comes out of that. In the meantime, Ronaldo Bachmann has an opportunity to get more minutes to rest and come back at a good level. That will be good enough for him at this point.
What time do you bring him back in if you're Rosario?
Oh, I would say 1 more minute, you know, and 3:21 will be good enough, you know. But depending on how long they take to solve this issue right now, it helps the cause. That's for sure.
The score made an adjustment there. It's now a 4-point game instead of a 3-point game. That last 3, I believe, by Ruiz was under review, and they decided that maybe his toe was on the line. It might have been his toenail. And that made it a 4-point game until that free throw sinks through by Franklin.
Big free throw for Franklin Alexander.
Calmly knocks both of them down. 4:20 remaining in the game. Championship on the line. The BCL Americas. Flamengo trying to erase their heartbreak from a year ago. Estelí trying to send the home crowd home happy. What a block there by Franklin. And the rebound.
Wow.
Franklin
Excellent
pushing
play.
the rock to the rim. Can't get it to go. Tapped out. Mojica, yes! Estelí with the lead, and Mojica will dance till the sun comes up.
Excellent play from Franklin Alexander and Mojica coming alive on the third and fourth quarter and gave Real Estelí 1 point ahead of Flamengo.
Double-double for Franklin, 14 and 10.
16 points for Mojica when he was scoreless at halftime, as well as Ronaldo Bachman with 11 points. Both of these guys were completely a big 0, big O, and they have come through and put this. This is a new ball game right now. You know, it's who wants it the most in this next few minutes.
Let's listen into the Flamengo huddle.
Se você jogou um pick and roll, o cara passou por baixo, você tá equilibrado, chuta. Se você chegou na transição, batendo pra dentro, a bola foi aberta, chuta. Entendeu? Agora o que não pode é o seguinte, ó. O cara não pode a mão no rebote. Sabe por quê? É isso, não tá um contra um. Os caras de fora estão vindo, esse é o problema. Vou negar. Lucas pro Marquinhos. Marquinhos subiu, Marquinhos agora.
And they look for Lucas and Marquinhos. Those are the two names that the coach usually mentioned. You know, everything else is off of that. So we will have to see what happened in the next 3 minutes and 49 seconds.
Real Estelí looked like they might have had this one slip away midway through the third quarter. They were down big. But then Ronaldo Balkman stepped up. Mojica, the man right there on your screen, stepped up. And it's a 1-point lead for Estelí, and this crowd here in Nicaragua is going crazy. How does Flamengo respond? The pass inside. Minero quiets the crowd momentarily.
He's just big for the guys who are guarding him. You know, they have 3 big guys at the same time, and Real Estelí cannot match up. That's why, you know, he's taking advantage every single time he gets it down low.
Mojica's hit some big-time shots. Lopez, too strong. And the rebound pulled down, and here's Santos back the other way.
It's about that time to bring Ronaldo Bachman back.
We approach the 3-minute mark here in the championship game at the BCLA. Santos from 3, no good. And here's Ruiz. Trying to slow things down now for Real Estelí. Lopez sets the screen for Ruiz. Ruiz, dribble drive, penetrating, tries to go amongst the trees and gets blocked. It will go the other way.
And that's exactly what the coach doesn't want. You know, he doesn't want that guy just dribbling the ball the whole time, not going anywhere. You know, the other 4 guys are just standing around. So you need to move the ball, especially right now. You need to get a good shot, not force anything on your own.
Balkman back into the game. He checked in for Ruiz, who looked like he has a cramp. Attack, no call, and Flamengo back the other way. Santos waits for help. The rest of his team taking a little while to get over half court. Tired bodies left in this game with 2 minutes to play in a championship. Santos driving over Franklin and flexing on him. Get in the weight room. Iago Santos.
The little man just took it all the way, no help. Alexander was just all alone in that last penetration from Iago. The little man making himself feel. That's a great play for him, you know, without a doubt. He took a chance on that one. David Rosario very frustrated. It's actually you need at least to fake so the guy thinks about the help coming, and probably around and not do that, But he just went all by himself. Unfortunately for them.
Mojica in the huddle as well, talking. His team down 3 points with a minute 50 to play in the game.
That's plenty of time. Plenty of time, especially they have the ball. They just got to execute. They got to move the ball and not take just the shot that they took on the last possession that they had.
Ramon, you've been in big-time games before that have come down to the wire. What's the mentality of a player? What do you feel in these moments as a player?
Well, obviously you have the pressure that you have to get it done. There's no second opportunity, so you got to get it done at once. And the game is on the line, so you gotta perform. There's no other chance. Win or go home. And guys are battling right now through all the worn out. They've worn out in the past 4 days. This is key. Yeah, they have no other choice but to just play their very best. There's no second chance.
Let's see who could be a hero on either side. Balkman's been special. Lopez, the floater, no good. And the Real Estelí supporters, you can hear a little bit of boos there. They weren't happy with that possession at all. But it's not over yet. 3-point game. Martinez thought about it. He wants it back. Here's Martinez driving inside. Martinez blocked by Lopez. Great defense by the youngster.
Excellent play. Yes, sir. He put himself in a bad situation in the last round offensively, but now he made a big play.
Franklin looking for help, and he was bailed out there by the foul. Iago Santos puts his hands up and says, that was me. 14 back on the clock for Real Estelí. They didn't have much going on that offensive possession there.
Not really. They gave again the ball to Lopez, which has no business taking that ball in this point in time. They need to make sure the good guys, Ronaldo Bachmann, Hica, and just Real de Jesus, they need to be looking for that ball and coming up, showing up so they can get that ball.
Here's de Jesus. He struggled from the field since his breakout first quarter. A kick ball. And Dos Santos wants a review, saying that he didn't kick it. It was actually de Jesus that kicked it. Let's see.
And I don't even know what was Lopez doing in that last play, because he wasn't setting no pick. He just brought another guy to him. And luckily they did not lose that basketball.
Well, the calls for the review go unanswered. De Jesus in the post. We haven't seen this from him yet. And he gets fouled by Iago Santos. He smiles at times, saying, it really wasn't me.
He loves to do that, but Mineiro is so over him. He was not going to get that shot off. No way, So luckily that he got that foul going his way.
48 seconds to play in the championship game here at the BCL Americas. 14 on the clock for the team in red, Real Estelí, down 3. They've battled back in this one. They took the lead momentarily. And they could tie with this Franklin 3. Too strong off the glass. Martinez pulls it down. And the foul there by De Jesus.
That was a poor decision out of Alexander Franklin. He really had no business taking that long shot, and once again, that's the same issue that they had all game long. Guys just dribbling the basketball for a very long time, letting the clock run, and no one is doing anything in the meantime. So it's very sad that they didn't get a better shot on that last possession.
The foul resets the shot clock back to 14. 24 on the game clock. They'll take a foul again. And that is the foul that will put them in the penalty. 2 free throws coming up. Maybe Coach Rosario thinking that Flamengo has been so poor at the foul line, let's put him at the line and see if we can extend this game.
The thing is, it's all about history, you know, and the percentage doesn't lie. They shoot 80% from the free throw line, so there might be a few that have had bad experiences going through the free throw line, but this probably, you know, sealed the game with that, you know, with that Yago shooting 2 and extending the lead to 5.
The lead's 4 right now. They are 59% from a free throw line with this foul shot pending. Knocks down both, as you said. It gets the lead to 5. 21 seconds remaining in the game. The shot clock will be off the rest of the way. And Estelí with the ball full court. So that decision will be under a microscope, definitely in the post-game comments for David Rosario.
And they brought a bigger guy, so, you know, they're going to switch everything, as you will see.
De Jesus, and he's fouled.
They took Yago out, and they brought Dimitri, I'm sorry. And that, you know, what they usually do is they switch everything. So if you go into a pick and roll, they will switch. They're just not going to allow you to have an easy shot to the basket.
Well, this is going to become a free throw contest after having an incredible mid-4th quarter swing by Estelí, who battled back to take the lead. Now they'll have to rely on the foul line to try and get back in it. These are 2 important free throws for De Jesus. His first one is true.
And they're going to have to go and foul again and put him on the line, that Flamengo team.
Second one is good as well. The full court pressure. Flamengo's going to have to get it inbounds and get over half. It's a 3-point game. Martinez. They don't foul immediately. He almost throws the ball away. Santos gets fouled at half. And he'll go back to the foul line to try and extend this lead back to 5 again with 10.1 seconds remaining.
And you can't let the clock run like that because it goes against you. You need time, and you need to stop them right away. They took like 4 or 5 seconds from the clock in that last possession.
Well, the team's been shooting horrible from the foul line all night long. 68% currently. Santos, however, is at 100%. He looks to stay perfect with his attempt 3 and 4 at the foul line to try and get the lead back to 5. It's easy to second-guess a head coach when they make a decision and it doesn't really work out in their favor. Coach Rosario is going to get second-guessed all the way home if Real Estelí can't overcome this 5-point deficit after Santos knocks down the second free throw.
Yeah, they had no other choice than to foul him, but, you know, the last 2 possessions that they had, that's when they got themselves in big trouble, unfortunately.
Gustavo Conti, the head coach of Flamengo, you see him there on the screen. He doesn't want to relax. It is a 5-point game with 10 seconds remaining. Anything could happen. Balkman. They got to get a shot away. They may not. Balkman lays it up. 1.4 remaining. It's a 3-point game, and Estelí will take a time.
Not impossible. Everything in basketball, that's a good thing. Everything in basketball is possible, but there's very little time, and the clock is your worst enemy at this point.
Well, it's been a phenomenal Basketball Champions League of Americas. We know that it was dealing with the coronavirus, as many of us have been throughout our lives, and the way things have changed the world. but they were able to get this tournament off safely in Nicaragua. All teams involved were safe, and we crowned a third-place winner in Minas, team from Brazil, beating Sao Paulo 75-58. Another team from Brazil looking to take home the championship here in Flamengo, up 3 with 1.4 remaining in the game.
And Flamengo has really done a great job on making it. Usually a team is hard to make it to a one final, but these guys made it last year to a final, lost against Kimsa, and they came back and they were looking for redemption, and they're about to get one, if it goes the way I think it will.
1.4, all they need to do is inbound. Estelí will look for the steal and a miracle 3 to send it to OT. The inbound is there. The foul comes quick. 0.7 remaining on the clock.
And there's no doubt, Flamengo had the deeper bench, the much better team. At the end of the day, the rotations, not having that rotations the way Flamengo has it, put you at a disadvantage. And Real Estelí ran out of gas. They put a good fight, a good effort. They played with a lot of pride for their Nicaraguans fans, but unfortunately they came short.
Figueiredo missed the first, but knocks down the second to make it a 4-point game. And that's all she wrote. Redemption for Flamengo. The 2021 Basketball Champions League of America champions. Your final score, Flamengo 84, Real Estelí 81 from Nicaragua. Flamengo dancing in championship glory.
Well deserved, as well as Real Estelí, who put up a good show for their fans. They are a small club that has really tried to put to compete at this level, and they have done well, making it to the final and putting a show like they did. It could have went either way. The guys could feel proud about themselves that they fought hard, and that's all you can say. At the end of the day, you want to feel that you try your very best, and you came short. That's okay.
Hugs all around for a team from Brazil. As you said, they really battled hard in the final game, but not just the final game, throughout the entire tournament. Through the group stage, through the knockout stage, defensively, they were able to lock in when it counted the most. You see the jersey being held up for Balbi.
Him and Olivinha, both of those guys were not able to be there. Well, Olivinha is there, but didn't get an opportunity to play, and he was a big contributor for their team. So even though they did not have him on the court playing, he's there to celebrate with his teammates. As you see, number 16 also deserved that trophy. Right there, you see him.
You gotta love the joy on his face.
It's tough. You didn't play a second in this quarterfinal, semifinals, or final, but you are enjoying it because you've been there, you've done that, He swallowed that one hard when they played in Uruguay against Kimsa and came short on their process.
All love all around for the team from Brazil. And that must feel so great. As you mentioned, they were second place a year ago, feeling what Real Estelí, as you see the emotion pouring out of Mojica there. He had a great second half. Balbi, of course, he's on their mind.
Yes.
And
they have a great team.
Just so sweet, isn't it?
Last year, and you happen to make it again and win it, it doesn't feel better than that, because you have experience losing, and winning is a must. And that is heaven for these players. Jezreel de Jesus, tremendous effort. He tried. He's suffering that loss. He really wanted it. And unfortunately, came out short today. But he got many years ahead of good basketball, and he should feel proud of the effort that he put out there tonight for his team.
No question about it. He was the team's leading scorer. Was team's heartbeat. Came out of the gates in the finals. Scored 16 points in the first quarter. But then Flamengo, with their traditional lockdown defense, and really what their calling card was throughout this entire weekend and tournament, they play great defense, and that really fuels their offense. The ball moving, the unselfishness, playing inside out. It's really a joy to see a team play basketball the way they did here at the BCLA, and they are crowned champions after being runners-up a year ago.
And that's another guy, Lucas Martinez. He was the wow factor. If he had a good game, I knew that Flamengo was going to have a great opportunity to win. He's the Mexican foreigner that they have, and he deserved that well. He's a guy that does everything. Plays good defense, play unselfish basketball, and he deserved this victory as well.
Head coach Gustavo Conti gets to celebrate a championship with Flamengo. His assistants Rodrigo Alves and Fernando Pereira alongside him. You see at the bottom of your screen, they are jumping, cheering, and dancing for joy. A reminder, if you want to watch the presentation, you can watch it right here. The third place medals will be handed out to Minas. And, of course, second place will be handed out to Real Estelí. And finally, Flamengo will raise the championship trophy after announcing the MVP of the tournament. If you had to pick for the MVP, who would you go with?
Hey, Simon would be the go-to guy. He was from the beginning to the end. He was the X factor. He took advantage from the perimeter, shooting the threes, and when he was the opportunity came to play inside and take advantage of the guys in the paint, he did that as well. So he's well deserved for that MVP if it was up to me.
No question about it. There you see the trophy, and it's gorgeous.
I'll tell you one thing. Those Brazilians know how to celebrate, my friend. They have a good routine right there. And that's hard to swallow. Mojica is looking at that. A little while ago in December, they ended up winning the BSN in Puerto Rico, the championship, and he was in the other side of the table. He was celebrating his title. Now he has to see how the Brazilian team, Flamengo, is celebrating their share.
Hugs all around. You see high fives. A lot of emotion, and rightfully so. They left it all out on the floor. There was a time in this game where you thought maybe Flamengo was wilting under the pressure, but to come back the way they did, Iago Santos knocked down a big three-pointer. There he is cutting down the net and finished with a nice layup inside, oversized, and that was really the turning point, and it felt like that may have been the knockout blow for Real Estelí.
Totally agree with you. He had the impact at the end of the game when they were desperately looking for a basket. He made good decisions. Sometimes he even had a fast break that he could have went and challenged a guy from Real Estelí. Instead of doing that, he dribbled it out and looked for better situations and just play smart basketball. And that's what it all boils down to. If you want to win championships, that's what it takes. You play smart, you make good decisions, you make the extra pass, and defensively you lock down, which is what Flamengo did most of the time.
Yes, they did. They led for 30 minutes and 44 seconds of the 40-minute game. That is a huge number, and it really tells the story of how well they played from start to finish. Flamengo played. As you see
Flamengo
being cut down.
Flamengo was a much physical team, and at the end of the day, their rotation, they ended up wearing out, the entire guys underneath. The big guys were worn out. They didn't have much to bring after, playing for such a long time with this rotation that Flamengo brings. So it's good to see those guys celebrating and cutting the nets and enjoying this well-deserved championship.
They're definitely going to be a team to beat in the future. You talked about the size that they have. They really imposed it. Ishmael, 6'11", 6'10". Mineiro, who comes off the bench at 6'10". Sousa, Marquinhos Sousa, who's 6'9", and the list goes on. And then they coupled that well with guards like Iago Santos, who's just 5'6", but he plays a lot bigger than that, and even finished it with a layup and one and flexed as if to say, hey, I'm just as big as you guys.
Yeah, that was a nice gesture out of him, The small guy really did what he needed to do to help his team win this title.
No question about it. He had a terrific game. As we see the referees who called tonight's final getting recognized.
It was a good officiating, for both games. The referees let them play. There were no chippy fouls, it was a little bit more like, back in the days, the way it used to be played basketball, where the guys had, a little freedom to play a little bit aggressive,
It was very physical. There you see the referees who ref this final game getting awarded medal presentation. As you said, they did do a great job all around. I think the entire tournament, referees did a phenomenal job. I didn't see a game where I said to myself, maybe the referees are letting themselves be a little bit too involved in this game. But anytime you can't tell that the referees are on the floor, that's a great job out of them, isn't it?
I totally agree with you. It's sad when you see the officials, wanted to take the lead and be the main attraction, So in this case, the teams, the players were the ones that were doing the exhibition. They were playing, they were doing what they know what to do, and they were not stopped by any official on getting their job done.
There we see Minas, who claimed the third place medals after defeating Sao Paulo 75-58 in our first game of the day. Another team from Brazil. So 3 of the top 4 teams that finished at the BCLA final weekend from Brazil.
Yeah, that goes to tell you, Brazil is a big country, and they have a lot of talent. A lot of talent because some of these teams, they're foreigners, are really, just a compliment. They don't come to lead their team. Most of the time they're just a compliment to the team. What do I need? I might need somebody just to a filler, but not, they don't take big roles, and that has a lot to say about how good the Brazilian league is, and all the talent that they have, and they produce talent year after year, going to the NBA, going to all the leagues around the world. So Brazilian teams and Brazilian league are doing the right thing, growing the sport.
There's head coach Leonardo Costa smiling for the pictures. You mentioned Brazil doing a great job of developing their talent, both sides of the ball, on the men's and women's side of the coin. Their women's national team also has a ton of talent, and some on the cusp of the WNBA and other leagues around the world, and they are a team to be reckoned with in the Americas when it comes to the AmeriCups and so on and so forth. So they're doing a good job of developing the game in their country. And here's Real Estelí, who, from Nicaragua, the team, the home team, so to speak, they put on an absolute show. I don't think many people
for to get this team, not this year, but last year they also brought some new players, and they are committed to continue to get this type of representation for Nicaragua, and it's awesome for the Nicaragua's national team, also for the league, and I think that this is a good starting point for the Nicaraguan league, which is also getting better little by little.
Certainly is. There you see the confetti falling on the runners-up.
Also, David Rosario, the coach of the Real Estelí, is going to be the head coach of the national team of Nicaragua, and has a couple of his players are going to be in that national team. Lopez, the big fellow, and Jared Ruiz are going to be also part of that national team that will be competing, representing their country.
Well, tonight they represented their country well, fought all the way till the end, and they could go home proud, even though they wanted the championship. They shouldn't hang their head because they left it all out on the floor. It looked like at some points they could get blown out, but they charged right back, even taking the lead there late in the fourth, before succumbing to a team that was just ready for the moment.
This guy is unbelievable. He did not play, but he's got the energy as he had to play. He had played 40 minutes. Carlos Oliveña, he's well-deserved of this title.
There you see the MVP. You called it.
Yes, sir. Well-deserved for him. The big fellow has played in the ACB, has played in the BSN. He's been a globetrotter, Seems like he's a good guy. Everywhere he's going, people talk good about him.
Rafael Hishmeyer, the MVP of the VCL Americas, leading his team tonight with a terrific game. Both ends of the floor. He really set the tempo in that first half, finishing with 21 points, 7 rebounds, knocking down 3 3-pointers. He did it all.
Yeah, the 3-pointers really throw you off. You see a big guy, that size, and they all do that. All the big guys shoot well from the three-point line, and some of them, once they start hitting it, they start, going with the penetration, and he doesn't use it as much, but what he does is he switches it up and posts you up, and at the end of the day, he breaks you down little by little.
Gustavo Conti handing out the medals. Must be on FaceTime, right? That's the only way he can be celebrating. Or he's on live for the fans back in Brazil. Either way, he's one happy camper. Olivina.
Yes, sir. They're accustomed to winning. These guys didn't come up in this championship league to come in any other place than first. At home, they have won 7 titles in a row, and obviously they predict to win another one this year as well. So this is a team that expects nothing but winning, and they are celebrating this well-deserved title.
See them popping the champagne early. The rest of the team hasn't even got their medals yet. Doesn't matter. They're ready to shower their teammates with that champagne. And we'll see them raise the trophy here in a second. Always love seeing teams celebrate because you know how hard it is to get to this point.
Yes. You gotta love that energy, man.
Hey, if you give me a championship, I'd still be excited like that too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, some guys never even play a semifinal or final. You know, so just winning it makes a whole lot of difference.
The medals, the trophies, the nets are cut down, the MVP trophy in the air, the game ball. Only thing
And
left.
no one remembers the individual performance. Everybody remembers the team, all.
You can follow the BCL Americas on social media at BCL Americas on Twitter and Instagram. You can use the hashtag BCL Americas and BCLA Finals to join in on the conversation. But right now, it's all about Flamengo as they get set to raise the trophies over their heads.
They will have a very happy trip back home, and I'm pretty sure that they will celebrate also. They will have people waiting for them at the airport to celebrate that accomplishment.
Here it is, the moment we've been waiting for. Heartbreak a year ago, this time, redemption in 2021. Flamengo, the 2021 BCL Americas champion. Well, Ramon, it was a pleasure to work with you, my friend. Hope we get an opportunity to do it again here in the near future. We saw two great games. Minas beating Sao Paulo 75-58, and of course Flamengo locking down defensively and topping Real Estelí to erase their disappointment from last year's BCL Americas Finals. They are the champions in 2021.
Likewise, Carlin, it's been great, and hope to do it again, and hopefully we can do this next Champions, the BCL Americas Champions League again.
Special thanks to our producer, Gabe Ruiz, who made us look as good as possible, and I know that's a tough job. But he did his thing for us here, and we're happy you were able to watch it wherever you are, and hopefully you do it, or hope you did it safely. As we see Flamengo celebrate, we'll say so long for Ramon Ribes. I am Carlin Gay. Flamengo 2021 BCL Americas champions.